Boys, so we're going to continue with this question. Part B says represent this data on a box and whisker plot. Okay, now these are the 5 numbers that we got in Part A for our 5-number summary. So what I've done is I've just started to draw this up. So I've got a ruler line and I've done it to scale, and I looked at it and said, well, I'm going from 1 up to 18. I didn't think I could do it every 1, so I'm going every 2. So I've started at 1 and I'm jumping up in 2s. That'll take me to 19, but it doesn't matter if it goes a little bit past the 18, that's fine. So what I've done so far is directly above the numbers, I've done a series of dots. Okay, so this first one is lined up with the 1. The next one, I've tried to do 4.5. So 4 is in the middle of 3 and 5. 4.5 would be here. And I've tried to line that dot up with the 4.5. 6.5, well, 6 is in the middle of 5 and 7. 6.5 would be in the middle of 6 and 7. And I've tried to line that dot up with 6.5. 10 is in the middle of 9 and 11, that's that dot. And 18 is in the middle of 17 and 19, and that's that dot. So I've got them lined up. I made sure they were the same height above the line. So now we're just going to get our ruler and draw the rest of the box and whisker plot together. So firstly, get your ruler lined up. So we are going to draw the whisker part, which is just from the first dot to the second dot, and from the last dot to the second last dot. And that's your whisker part. Then this bit in the middle is where the box forms. Now the actual height of the box, it doesn't really matter how big you make it or small you make it, as long as it's consistent across it. So whatever you have above that dot should be the same distance below it or close enough to it. Now, once you've got the box itself, that dot in the middle just is your median, so that's supposed to be here as well. It's part of the box. And that's it, finished. That's your box and whisker plot. Make sure you've also got down the bottom what you're actually talking about here. So this was the number of pizza orders per hour on a weekend. Okay, so you should have a label down there to say what you're talking about. All right, we're going to do example 2 now. So it says this box plot represents the number of hours worked in 1 week by the staff at Coles. Okay, so here's your box and whisker plot. It says hours worked down here. We're ranging from 20 hours worked to 32 hours worked. And there's the box and whisker plot up there for the staff and how many hours they work. So we're just going to answer a series of questions here. Firstly, it says, what is the median number of hours worked? The median is this line here. So just come down here and try and read off what that would be. So this is 27 and 28, so that would be 27 and a half hours. Make sure you write hours on the end. The next one, what is the lower quartile? The end of the box on the left-hand side is the lower quartile, so that's 26 hours. What is the upper quartile? The upper quartile is the right-hand side of the box, so that's 30 hours. What is the interquartile range? Well, we're going to do our upper quartile, take away our lower quartile, and our interquartile range will be 4. Make sure you write hours on the end. And now we get questions like these ones over here, which say, what is the percentage of employees who worked? And then there's a whole bunch of questions. Now this question did say, I've just changed it a bit, but it did say estimate the percentage. And you might be looking at it when you see these answers going, why would they say that? And I'll explain the estimate part in a minute. All right, so we're looking at between 26 and 30 hours. So on your box plot here, between 26 and 30 hours are these two ends here. Now, that was Q1 and that was Q3. So the percentage between Q1 and Q3, remember this is the 25%, the bottom quarter, and this is 75%, the top quarter. So the percentage between those would be 50%. There is no working out in these questions. These are things you should just understand because you understand what quartiles and medians are. All right, the next one, less than 27.5 hours. Here's your 27.5. Less than that, knowing that this is the median, that's 50% because the median is right in the middle. So you're going to have 50% below, 50% above. The next one, more than 30 hours. Here's your 30 hours. We're going this direction. This is Q3. This is 75%. So to get to 100% from there, you're only looking at 25%. And this next one, less than 30 hours. Here's your 30. We're looking at everything this way. So if that's Q3, the 75% mark, we've got 75% of the scores over here. The next one says between 27.5 and 30 hours. Here's 27.5 and there's 30. So you're between the median and Q3. That's on the 50% mark, right there. And that's on the 75%, so there's 25% between those. So all those questions should be fairly easy. Now the reason that they sometimes will say estimate is because when you're looking at this first one here, between 26 and 30 hours, you haven't actually taken into account right on the 26 hours and right on the 30 hours. So for that reason, they say estimate most of the time. Okay, it doesn't mean that you're trying to guess an answer or anything. You've still got to use your knowledge about your quartiles and your medians to be able to get all of those out. Okay, the next question we're doing, we're looking at a stem and leaf plot over here. Now, they can ask any questions on this. Just remember that the stem and leaf join. So that would be the number 20 up there. This would be the number 85 or 87. So make sure you join them together to create your numbers. So you're doing a 5-number summary. Now, you should know how to do this in your calculator like I just told you before. So I'm not going to go through it all again on the calculator. Just look at the notes that we wrote down on the last video, on the first example, and you'll see how to put this in your calculator. All right, so just remember you're going into statistics mode. So as soon as you start to do this, it should all come back to you anyway. So we're doing mode 2 for stat. When you see that, you look at that and it's one variable and you're ready to go entering all these scores. So when you start entering, remember to join the stem and leaf together. So it's 2, 0, so it's 20, press equals. Our next one up the top there is 22, press equals, 23, equals, 25, equals. Then you're on to the second row, so you're doing 33 equals, and I'm not going through all of them. Okay, don't forget when you get to the end, the last number will be 88 equals, it's all in, press AC, then you're going to shift 1, 5 for min-max, and if you go back to the last video, you'll see how to get all of these off. The answer should turn out to be those, and when you write your 5-number summary down in increasing order, it's 20, 46, 51, 68, 88. Now, they then want you to draw a box plot for this. So, drawing up a box plot using these numbers here, remember, we're just doing what we did a minute ago, so you should be able to have a good go at this yourself. Remember, when you're looking at your numbers, you've got 20 up to 88. So just determine a scale that sort of suits what you're doing. All right, so I've just chosen to do from 20 up to 90, go up in tens, and you just roughly gauge where you think the things fall. All right, so 20 is right on the 20, 46, well there's 40, there's 50, 45, 46 is a bit higher, 51 is just a bit above 50, 68 is closer to 70 than anything else, and 88 is fairly close to 90. And you just do it like that, like we did a minute ago. Use your ruler, and you should be right doing the rest of this. Okay, so just remember to start with your whiskers. These should all be in line, but we'll try and line them up as we go. Whiskers first. Should be a bit higher. And then you draw your box around the rest of it. And that's it, finished. Okay, so have a go at your homework and see how you go with these, but you should be good at this work. It's not that difficult.